Sri Sai Ram. Hearty welcome to Sri Sathya Sai Lok Seva Gurukulam. Free online classes in science. A very beautiful topic called sound. The whole universe is full of sound. Of course, some sound are pleasing. Some sound are very harsh noise actually, and some sound are audible to us. Some sound we can't hear at all. So like that, the whole world is full of sound. Is it not? Can you give some examples? Yes, the waves of the ocean give some sound. The trees swaying of the branches of a tree. The leaves make sound. Crying of a baby. The vehicle sound. Alarm sound. Mobile, very famous for you. Mobile sound, what you call ringtone. Correct? So here sound travels. Sound is a form of energy. Like all other forms of energy like light, electricity, magnetism, atomic energy, etc., sound also is a form of energy. When you say energy, it can transfer from one place to another. But in case of sound, a medium is necessary. A transport is necessary. It may be a solid like metals or wood, etc. It may be liquids like water, milk, etc. It may be gases also like our atmosphere or air. So anyway, medium is necessary for the propagation of sound. And also you have studied about frequency. And other day, remember, we told about the simple pendulum. In simple pendulum, when you just pull the bob to one side, that is called amplitude. And if you leave it, it goes to the other extreme. That is called vibration. And if you come back to the same position, then it is called oscillation. So, the number of oscillations per second is called frequency of oscillation. Oscillation means to and fro motion of the bob. Correct? And how it is measured? It is measured by the unit called hertz. 1 cycle per second is 1 hertz. So, when the amplitude of vibration is larger, the louder is the sound. For example, roaring of a lion, that is very louder. Sometimes teacher also will be talking loudly to control the voice. Is it not? So there the amplitude of vibration will be larger. So that also we have studied in the previous class. The loudness of sound depends on the amplitude, which is expressed in a unit called decibels. See, all of us have got our own speciality in voice. And you may have heard about snoring. Some of the boys get upset when the others are snoring because the decibels will be more. So, that loudness depends on amplitude, and that is measured in terms of decibels. Is it not? Roar of a lion is very loud, and the sound of a bird is quite feeble. If you have a habit of getting up early in the morning, you can hear chirping of birds, so melodious. You can hear cuckoo, sometimes crow also, sometimes parrot, is it not? Peacock, peacock sound is very nice. So like that we hear different kinds of sound, and in the case of roaring of a lion or tiger, even elephant also, we call it as trumpet. They are very loud, whereas the chirping of the birds will be very feeble. Okay? So like that, in our daily life we are exposed to different kinds of sounds. And how do you identify sounds? Through our ears. In the ear, there is a part called eardrum. So whenever you hear some sound, eardrum vibrates, and that vibrations are transferred to inner ear and to the brain, so that we can make out the different kinds of sound. Okay, now let us come to the home assignment. How many have done it? If you done it, well and good. Otherwise, just see once. What is the relation between the loudness and amplitude? Give an example. Loudness of a sound depends on amplitude. When the amplitude of vibration is large, the sound produced is loud. So, more the amplitude, more the loudness. Less the amplitude, lesser will be the loudness. Okay, for example, similarly when the amplitude is small, sound produced also is feeble, means very low frequency. For example, sound of a baby is feeble compared that of an adult. A small baby, no, the sound is very feeble because most of the organs of a baby will not be developed, whereas in adult it will be fully developed. So what a wonderful mechanism this body is, so wonderful, correct? The breathing 21,600 times per day, and how the eyes are seeing like a camera, the ears are hearing, the nose takes only oxygen inside. So wonderful mechanism, the digestion system, all this. So here, so in the case of baby it is very feeble. Next question. How is loudness expressed? What is the loudness of normal conversation and busy traffic? Other day we had a list of about the loudness, measurement of loudness. Loudness is expressed in a unit called decibels, dB. For example, loudness of normal conversation is 60 decibels and busy traffic is 70 decibels. Only a sample has been taken. There is a big list actually of measuring the loudness of different sounds that we are hearing in everyday life. Okay, that is the answer for the second question. And the third question, what does the frequency of a sound determine? Give an example. So, frequency of a sound determines the shrillness or pitch. Shrillness or pitch of the sound. So, note this word, shrillness or pitch of a sound. For example, a drum vibrates with a low frequency, therefore it produces low pitched sound. So, if the frequency is less, then the pitch also will be less, but loudness will be more. If you are beating the drum means you can hear from long distances, correct? Because it vibrates. A whistle has high frequency and produces a sound of higher pitch. You might have seen our PT sirs in the classes, in the schools. In the PT class, they bring a whistle. In the word whistle, T silent. T silent. So there the frequency will be very high and hence pitch will be high. Why do you want higher pitch? Because there will be hundreds of students. To control them, a high frequency device is needed. Correct? So now let us see today's topic. So all of you are interested in seeing the dog here. This is a Polish dog. What is this? That is a bat. Not a cricket bat. Bat actually is a flying animal. Even though it looks like a bird, it belongs to animal kingdom. What is the speciality of Polish dogs? Let us see. Before that, we will see that what is audible frequency. For human ear, the range of audible frequency is very roughly from 20 Hertz to 20,000 Hertz. So it is from 20 Hertz, Hz means Hertz, 20,000 Hertz, or you can also write it as 20 Ks, this way also I can write kilohertz. 1 kilohertz is equal to 1000 Hertz. So then you may ask, if it is less than 20, can we hear any sound? No. If it is more than 20 kilohertz, that also we can't hear. Now let us see that the sounds of frequencies less than 20 Hertz. For example, whales. Have you heard about whales? Yeah. Whales is the largest animal in the world. Where do they live? They live in oceans. They will be very big, huge mountain-like. And even though they belong to fish kingdom, they are called as animals. So blue whale, the frequency is less than 20 Hertz. They can communicate for long distances with a small voice, which we can't hear. Higher than that of 20 kilohertz, that is 20,000 vibrations per second. For example, bats movement. Bats they form what is called as ultrasonic sounds. Ultrasonic. Sonic means sound. Ultra means more than 20,000. So here, this is a bat. Do you know anything special about bats? Yes, it will always hang in the branches of a tree, you might have seen it, upside down, with head downwards, just like our Shishasana in Yogasana. How many know Shishasana? Some of you. Yeah, don't practice without the proper guidance from the Guru. So, but bats, they don't have gurus. Still they do Shishasana. Always, they will be awake in the night time. And they are very peculiar kind of animals. And they produce a sound called ultrasonic sound. Our ears can't hear that. Even you might have seen our dentist using it. There is one vibrator thing which to clean the teeth and all, they use ultrasonic sound there. Even Polish dogs have the capacity to hear frequency higher than 20 kilohertz. That's why police use high frequency whistles which dogs can hear but we cannot hear. So do you know how nicely they train Polish dogs, especially in catching the thieves or in locating the place. They are very costly they are. How many have dogs in your house? Of course, not ordinary dogs going in the streets, they are of no use. But the pet dogs like this will be useful, especially in catching the thieves and in catching or locating the places of murder and other things. They are very sensitive to hearing and also smell. Recently one film has come in the name of Charlie 777 about how dogs behave and how dogs will be tamed and how dogs will be useful for human beings. So this is one important thing we have studied here. So this is called audible frequency, 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz, that is called audible frequency. Less than 20, more than 20,000, they are called inaudible sounds. Okay? And now we will see something what is called as music. Music is very pleasant to hear. All will enjoy music, correct? Because it is rhythmic, a sequence of sounds which seem pleasant to the ears. Can you name some of the instruments? Yes, harmonium, correct. Then flute, then yes, sitar, veena, violin. They all produce sounds which are pleasant to hear. They are called music. In other words, or as against this you have, there are some sounds, non-sequential sounds which create stress and tension. Can you give some examples? Yes, shouting in the class. All will be talking before the teacher enters the class, no? Every boy or girl, talking to each other. And everybody has their own frequencies. So what happens? There will be noise. Not all classes, some of the classes. Or if they leave for games period, evening last period will be usually a games period. So when they leave them for games, they make lot of noise. So they will be very happy to go for games. So in that happiness they make noise. That is called noise. Sounds produced by harmonium, sitar, etc. are called musical sound. Sounds produced by the horns of trucks and buses, a very peculiar kind of sound will be there. Especially trucks, very different type of music, frequencies of sound will be there, and that is what is called as noise. Even the crackers in Deepavali time you use crackers. That is example for noise. Or you can say explosives. In big hillocks and rocks and all, they are crushed by the help of explosives like TNT, dynamite, etc. They all produce noise. Whereas these instruments produce music. Which you like? Of course, some boys may say, I like noise, sir, every day there should be noise. I enjoy it. It is not correct. Noise always disturbs us and it gives trouble to our ears also. When you say about noise, it creates pollution. You heard about air pollution. When there is a lot of smoke or any bad smell and etc., it becomes air pollution. You heard about water pollution, the pure water. When some factory waste, animal waste, dead bodies, this and that put to water, it becomes water pollution, correct? Now we are studying about noise pollution. So how does the noise pollution comes? Presence of excessive or unwanted sounds in the environment. Sir will be teaching something and boys will be talking to their own way. That is pollution. Please don't do that. Sit decently, disciplined manner. Whatever sir or madam is teaching, you must be hearing it. Correct? Don't create pollution there. And some boys or girls while studies also they want some music. And not only one music, radio will be shouting and TV is shouting, mobile is shouting everywhere. It is called pollution. So try to control that pollution. So you must know the reasons of pollution also. And for example, bursting of crackers, sounds of vehicles, explosion, etc. cause noise pollution. In cities like Bangalore or Calcutta even, you find a lot of sounds of vehicles, thousands of vehicles, especially in peak hours in the mornings and evenings. There will be sounds of vehicles. Crackers I need not tell. You have got very good experience in Deepavali time. Lot of crackers. Simple money is being burnt. Of course you may say you get joy, sir. We are happy burning crackers. That also may be there. But very temporary. Thousands of rupees. Why thousands? Lakhs even. Even in the election, if a particular man wins the election, thousands of crackers are burnt. Birthday parties, this, that. Is it not? So they all cause noise pollution. It's called pollution. It is not healthy actually. And what are the dangers of this noise pollution? Harmful effect of noise pollution. Noise pollution is the cause of many health problems. For example, it causes lack of sleep in the night time. Of course, nowadays government has put an order. After 10 o'clock there should not be any shouting of the mics and all. So if you hear that sound, unwanted sound, it disturbs the sleep. High BP, it's called hypertension. Anxiety. Anxiety means suppose you have written an examination, today is the result. You will have anxiety. How much mark I will get? Whether I get first rank or second rank or third rank, something you have in the mind. And then naturally there will be anxiety. Or suppose some relatives are coming to your house, they did not turn up for some reason, there will be anxiety. Correct? Or if you have seen a snake in your house, inside your house, there will be anxiety. Where it will go, what will do and all. So all these leads to hypertension. A person who is exposed to a loud sound continuously may get temporary or permanent impairment of hearing. We can't hear properly. Totally. Sometimes in birth itself they can't hear. There are some who are deaf, they are called deaf. There is a deaf and dumb school in cities like Mysore, wherein any problem in the ears, they will be attended there. So temporary or permanent. Permanent means that eardrum is not working at all. For everything you have to shout at them. Temporary means you can use some devices. You might have seen some old people especially. It is very natural after 80. They become deaf to some sounds. And in such case they will use earphones, it's called. Nowadays it is very costly, earphones. But that will help for little hearing. So these are some of the causes. Now coming to how to limit, measures to limit the noise pollution. To control noise pollution, we must control the sources of noise, where the noise is coming. For example, silencing devices must be installed in aircraft engines. A helicopter, for example, when it lands down or when it goes up, lot of sound is heard. There will be air pollution also, sound pollution also. Even aeroplanes also, jet planes, aeroplanes, etc. when they move, lot of sound is heard, and that can be controlled by silencing the devices of the engines. So we must find out for what. In transport vehicle also, if the silencer is not proper, gives lot of sound, especially bike, you might have heard. Huge sound is heard. So then you have to use what is called silencers. Industrial machines, huge machines, especially the factory area where there is a steel factory is there, iron and steel factory and some other factories like that, where big rods are being cut or molded, etc. Huge sound is heard, and that can be controlled by using proper grease, is it not? Any lubricants for the machines. Even home appliances also. For example, radio is giving a lot of sound, reduce the volume. TV is giving a lot of sound, reduce the volume. You can reduce the volumes. That is how you can avoid or control or limit the noise pollution. Okay. And some more solutions for residential areas. Wherever the houses are there, you can avoid noise producing industries should be set up away from the industrial areas. Residential areas. That is why usually in the outskirts of the city they are put factories, because they cause not only noise pollution, they cause air pollution also. So to avoid that, factories are kept outside these residential areas. Use of automobile horns should be minimized. Silly things they put horns. They make noise. It disturbs, especially disturbs. Especially when you are moving in a two-wheeler, when you hear lot of sounds from outside, it will disturb, it will cause damage to our eardrums. So that can be minimized. TV and music system should be run at low volumes. What do you call, youngsters know it, DG. They put this, very huge volume they put in loudspeakers, making hell of noise. So that can be controlled. And TV also, to the extent what is needed, you can put that volume. Otherwise, you can reduce the volume just to avoid noise pollution. Trees must be planted along the roadsides, along the buildings, around the buildings to cut down on the sounds reaching the residents. So trees must be grown on the sides of the roads. You might have heard about Salamurthy Timmakka. You heard? She got a very high prestigious award, Padma Vibhushan I think, for growing thousands of trees on the roadside. She used to treat these plants as her own children, and she is a very special, extraordinary lady. Of course, there are so many unseen and unheard people who work for the growing of trees. So growing of trees on the roadsides, of course in some cities they are very careful about that. They grow a lot of trees and to cut down the sounds reaching the residents. So what happens, especially those who live in cities, they are exposed to different kinds of sounds of vehicles, of wind, of trees and all that. So that can be reduced by growing more and more trees. The leaves of the trees, they absorb this sound, and hence the sound of the vehicles can be controlled. So, these are some of the devices of controlling noise pollution. And one more thing, hearing impairment. Hearing impairment means total hearing impairment is usually from birth itself, that is the first case. He is not able to hear at all, okay, and there will be some others, partial disability due to disease or injury, etc., or age also. Usually after 80, 75, 80, their hearing capacity reduces. So, even some diseases also cause deafness, and injury also, some accidents, especially accidents, there will be sudden accidents causes these noise, and it affects the hearing system. By learning sign languages, such children can communicate effectively. You can also practice. Instead of unnecessary talking, if you ask like this, have you finished lunch? That is the meaning. Are you sleeping? Like this, action. So, symbols can be used. Don't talk, you can do like this. Don't talk, shut up your mouth. Or you can say how much you are disturbing, like that. Some symbols. That way of symbols in communicating, that also will help to reduce that hearing impairment. Technological devices for the hearing impaired have made it possible for such persons to improve their quality of life. One of them is using the ear devices to hear the, they got earphones, that will be helpful. Even in the camera people, they use the earphones, is it not? And nowadays lot of devices have come to reduce noise, to reduce shrillness. So, such devices, that is called technological devices, means advanced machineries have come, which will reduces the hearing impairment. So, that is for such persons to improve their quality of life. So, if the person is deaf in any house, that gives lot of pollution all around. Everybody has to shout at them. He want to tell something, he will be shouting, he also will be shouting, and he also must be shouting to him. So, that will be lot of noise pollution. Anyway, you can make use of some technological devices, that is the meaning. So, these are some of the interesting things. Now, let us just try to test our understanding, see whether this is true or false. Sound cannot travel in a vacuum. True. So, what do you want then? You want medium. What type of medium? It may be liquid or solid or gas. Correct? The number of oscillations, can you hear? Can you see it? The number of oscillations per second of a vibrating object is called its time period. Come on, is it true or false? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It is false. That is called frequency actually. If that amplitude of vibration is large, sound is feeble. True or false? It is false. For human ears, the audible range is 20 Hertz to 20,000 Hertz. Is it true or false? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It is true. And lastly, the lower the frequency of vibration, higher is the pitch. Is it true or false? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It is false. So, now let us pass on to home assignments. First question, list sources of noise pollution in your surroundings. What is the difference between noise and music? Can music become noise sometimes? It's a thought-provoking question. Police uses very high frequency sound whistles sometimes. Why? We cannot hear the movement of ants or bats. Why? Even in whales also. Why you can't hear? So, now let us see what Sadhguru Sri Madhusudan Sai says. So beautiful photo. He says, your body is your car. Our body, it is our car. Mind is a steering wheel. And intellect is a driver. And who will be sitting there? It is the divine self. Is a passenger inside. So, body is our real vehicle that takes us to God. So, our life is a journey from God, with God, to God. For that, one vehicle is necessary, that is our body. Sharira madhyam kalo dharma sadhanam. For all the seva or sadhana, body is very essential. Correct? So, try to answer the home assignment. Thank you.